Hello yogis, Jen Rhodes here. So glad to see you today. I'm going to teach a very gentle yoga practice today for us. I am actually in concussion recovery from hitting my head earlier this past week, so I'm not doing anything too crazy on my mat myself, so we'll keep this to be a very gentle class. As we get started here, if everyone wants to make their way down to their backs laying down on their mat, or go ahead and sit back in your chair to a comfortable position, we'll start from there. Please forgive me if I stumble on any words though, it's the concussion. So let's go ahead and lay ourselves down or get comfortable in our seats. And if you've taken class with me before, you know as soon as we lay down or try to sit back, we want to make some small adjustments and movements just to get any wiggles out before we're still. So feel free to move around on your mat or in your chair. And from here, we're just going to take a few deep breaths together. So without really controlling them fully, just paying attention and almost syncing up with everyone else's breath. So let's take an inhale in however you'd like. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Sorry for the cat. She might also be in the room here with me. I have the dog next to me as well. So if you hear any noise, that's what that is. So from here, keeping ourselves still, closing the eyes if we haven't done so already. Let's go ahead and just let ourselves melt into our mats or melt into the ground. So going full ice cream cone in the middle of July on a hot summer day, melt into your mat or melt into your chair. Feel every connection with the back of the body to the mat. And do a quick scan from the top of your head all the way down to your tippy toes to see if you're holding on to any tension that's unneeded, if you're holding on to any tension in the shoulders, the jaw, closing your eyes too tightly, not letting your legs release fully. So finding your way there. And today's theme of our class is in regards to being stronger with every struggle. So the reason I had wanted to choose this particular theme is because this past week with me having a concussion has thrown me for a little bit of a loop. And I think that these obstacles, these different things are put in our way, sometimes for a reason, for the better or for the worse. But almost keeping faith that the universe or whoever it is that you believe to be higher than yourselves is in control in a way and is kind of pulling those puppeteer strings, and we're meant to go through some of these struggles because we are strong enough to do so, and we wouldn't know unless we'd been tested. So kind of keeping with that theme and just knowing that if we've had any of those struggles in our lives, which I can almost certainly bet we can name a few right off the top of our head, maybe just noticing what that has done for you or to you and where that has jettisoned you to. So if you're in any particular mood, or if you have something that you're dwelling on from the past, and just knowing that all we can do is start new each day and do our best. So not letting any of those past struggles influence your future or current decisions. Just allowing yourself to be the better version of you that you found throughout those struggles. And from here, from this silent and still position, go ahead and make some small wiggles with the fingers and toes. Move your wrists and your feet around. And then in one movement, we're going to go ahead and curl our knees into our chest if we're on our mats. Bring your head up to your knees, wrap your arms around your shins, give yourself a little bit of a hug. Thank yourself for all of the things that you've done to improve you and that you know that you have planned for the future. Then go ahead and lay your head back down here on the mat. Bring your arms either out like cactus arms here or goalpost arms, or you could bring arms long out by each side with your palms facing up or down. Find whichever version works for you. Take a deep inhale. On your exhale, we're going to drop both knees over to the right. So your gaze may come out toward the left side of your mat. So feel free to take that twist. You'll feel it most on your left side of your body here. And maybe a little bit into the upper hip on the left side. Take an inhale, bring those knees back in. Take an exhale, take them over to the left. So we're bringing our knees over to the left side, only letting them drop as far as is comfortable for us. And simply maybe keeping the eyes closed. And then inhale, bring those knees back into center. Place your feet back down on the mat. So our knees are bent, feet are down here on our mat. Now I want to include kind of our mantra for the rest of our class here. So I want it to be that I am stronger with every struggle. So that is what I would like for you to keep either repeating or keeping at the forefront of your mind, is that I am stronger with every struggle. So as we lay here on our mat or in our chair, if you're in your chair, you can do the same type of leg exercises that we're about to do on the mat, so feel free to join in. We're going to first bring our arms down by our sides here. So just bring them down here. There's a cat in the video. Hello, Ellie. And from here, we're going to go ahead and cross our left ankle over our right knee. And we're going to open this hip up, so it creates almost that number 4 pattern with our legs. From here, you have a few decisions to make. We're going to first flex these left toes, so like I'm standing on the wall in front of that bottom of my foot. So flexing our toes back toward our knee, okay? And keeping that leg engaged in that way. So we're creating that number 4, and then depending on our hips, because we hold so much tension there, use that left hand to your advantage. Just use it as a gentle weight. You can just give it that extra millimeter that it might not be able to go on its own. So feel free to use that hand as a weight or not. And from here, we're going to go ahead and release this knee in toward our chest. Okay, so the knee that's up in the air, we're going to release toward our chest. So bring it more toward where your heart is, but we're keeping that ankle there. We're just going to simply bring our hands interlaced along that shin. We're going to uncross that ankle and hug your knee into your chest. We're going to keep this right leg right where it is here on the mat, so the right foot is still planted. Go ahead, if your shoulders have popped up, bring them back down to the mat. And keep that knee in toward the chest the best that you can. We're almost hugging it toward that left shoulder. From here, let's release that grip on the hands. We're just going to, this time, bring this left foot to our inner right knee. Okay, we're just going to rest it there. Then bring those goalpost arms back, take an inhale. Let your exhale drop both knees over to the, I have a dog there, sorry, over to the right. So both knees are going over to the right now on this side. And then that top foot is being used as a gentle weight on that bottom leg. So you can kind of gauge it as much as you want. If this feels like it's too much, you can feel free to use a hand on your knee or whatever you'd please. Let's go ahead and inhale and bring those knees back up. Ellie, stop. Sorry, I had to go grab my cat off of the desk, or we're going to hear her the whole time. Come on. Come on, girl. Do you want to say hi? This is Ellie. She's being a pain, so she's going to go away now. So from where we were at, go ahead and bring those knees back into the center here. Bring those knees back into the center. Now we're going to cross our right ankle over our left knee. Same thing, opposite side. Create that number 4. Flex these toes like you're standing on the wall to the side of you. Maybe use that right hand as a gentle weight on that thigh. Breathing here. Two more big breaths. Release that grip on the hand. Go ahead and rotate that right knee in toward your heart. So we're bringing it right into the middle of us. Keep that foot on the outside of that right leg. And then we're going to go ahead and just drop our hips over to the right. Go ahead and come back to center, and I feel like we're off center with one of these at least. So let's go ahead and cross the left foot back over, and we're going to go ahead and find that same thing. So I'm sorry if we did the same side twice, but hey, we'll even it out. Stretch still feels good anyway. So from here, we're going to go ahead and bring our left knee in. So with our left knee that was crossed over the right knee here, bring that into your center. And then we're going to drop both knees over to the left. So we're using that upper foot, that left, or that right, left foot on top of the other. Inhale, bring those knees back into center. Drop that left foot back down. Go ahead and bring both knees into the center of your mat, but bring your feet wide. So your feet are mat width distance, both knees are knocking in toward one another. Let's go ahead and move our knees from left to right. Kind of windshield wipering them from side to side, waking up the hips. And from here, let's bring those feet back in hip width distance. Hug both knees into your chest. Hands come behind the thighs this time, and we're going to roll ourselves up to a seated position. So give yourself a slow roll up to seated. Now from here, we're going to do some stretches on our mat here as we are. So extend the legs out in front of you. So we're going to flex those toes back toward our face like we're standing on the wall in front of us. So you can see the difference between if I have my toes down or my toes up, okay? So flexing those toes back toward our face. We're going to bend at the left knee, bring the sole of that foot to the mat. Then we're going to go ahead and cross it over the opposite side of that right knee. Few options. What you can do is you can hug on with this right arm to the left knee and go ahead and turn yourself toward the left. Or you can go ahead and bring this elbow, so your right elbow to the outside of that left knee. Bring the left fingers behind you, sit up tall, and twist this way. You also may have it in you to twist all the way back and bring your gaze back. So finding whichever version of this pose works best for you, either hugging on or looking back. If you're in a chair, you can simply just twist over toward the left side, maybe using the arms as an assist. And then from here, unwind yourself, and then let's go ahead and extend that left leg long. Right foot comes into the inner left thigh here, just to get ourselves set up. Then go ahead and step it over the opposite side of that left knee. So right foot outside of the left knee. You can either hug on with your left arm to this right knee and kind of twist over just to the side as I am here now. Or maybe you can bring that elbow to the outside, twist even further with the torso. And you can bring the back hand behind you and maybe bring gaze back all the way. So still sitting up nice and tall this whole time, breathing through it. And then go ahead and bring yourself back into the middle, untwist yourself, extend that right leg long. Now from here, we are going to go ahead and bring our
sole of our left foot to our inner right thigh. So I'm just going to twist halfway here so you can kind of see me. I know I get cut off at a certain point because my room just isn't big enough, but what we can do here is bring that sole of the left foot to the inner right thigh. I'm just a little bit crooked on my mat. So making that number 4 pattern with our legs down here. So you also have another option. If you would like, you can bring the top of that right foot to the top of the right thigh. So you can kind of cross it over. Here you'll notice that the leg will dangle a little bit. You'll feel a good stretch in the upper part of your foot here. Again, nothing that you would want to be strenuous, but it's a good stretch for your ankle and the upper top part of your foot and metatarsals. So feeling that here a little bit, or finding your version. If you're in that turned over foot version, the more difficult one, feel free to just bring that sole of the foot to the inner thigh now and uncross it. We're going to bring our arms high over top of our head, bring your palms to touch, and then we're going to take a big inhale, look up toward the sky. Exhale, fold yourself forward over that right leg here, that long leg, and bring yourself with a flat back. So I'm not rounding my spine and curling myself in. I'm simply hinging from my waist as my back is still straight. So my neck and my head are still in line with my spine. So we can reach down and grab onto this foot if we'd like. Maybe you can use our peace signs with our fingers and grab onto your big toe if you're shoeless right now. You can give that a shot, or again, just resting the hands wherever they may fall. So if that's near the shin, near the knee, on the ground, whatever it is that you are trying to reach for, just that you're getting that stretch in your back and in your lower back is huge. So going as far as you can. Then inhale, sit yourself back up to center. We're going to extend the left leg long, bring the sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. Okay, so for now you can keep your legs like this, but if you want that extra little bit of a challenge and stretch on the top of the foot, feel free to try to fold it over and bring the bottom of your foot facing up toward the sky. So we're bringing the tops of our toes and the top of our foot to the top of our left thigh. So your knee's going to float on the right here a little bit off of the ground just to give yourself that stretch, never forcing anything, but just allowing the stretch to occur if you wish. And if you have that crossed over, go ahead and gently remove it. Bring the sole of the right foot back to the left inner thigh. From here, bring your arms high over top of your head. Palms come together. Take an inhale. Flexing those left toes. Exhale. Fold forward over that left leg. So you can see again, I'm not rounding in my spine. I'm simply going forward, just really keeping my torso straight and going toward the left toes with my center of my head. Letting the hands fall where they may. Like I said, they may reach the foot, they may reach the ankle, the shin, the knee, does not matter. You are still getting the best stretch for your body as far as you can go. Walk yourself back up to a center, seated position. And from here, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. Okay, so both soles of our feet are together. So almost making those like butterfly wings. So I'm going to sit up against the chair just so you, the wall here rather, just so you can see me the best as is possible. So you can press the soles of your feet together nice and hard. If you feel like you have the ability in your hips to open more, maybe try releasing the higher corner of your foot, or the higher side of your foot, or inner side, I should say, that almost like your feet are opening up, that you can see the soles of your feet like you're opening a book. Okay, so that's an option here too. Also, if it's too much for you to have the heels in toward the tailbone too much, go ahead and take a step out 1 foot at a time. Give yourself some more space between your heels and tailbone. That's going to lessen the stretch on the legs and make it more accessible. Those of you in chairs, you can simply just sit on the edge of your chairs and pay attention at this point. There really isn't an alternative for this one other than folding over, which we'll do in a moment, which you can gladly do over your own legs. So from where we're at, sit nice and tall, almost pretend like the wall that I have behind me is behind you and you're trying to touch every part of your back of your body against it. Go ahead and rest your hands on your knees. And we're gonna curl into cat and our cow poses. So we're gonna arch and round the spine this time, a little bit different than what we just did where we kept the spine totally straight. So take an inhale as you sit tall. Exhale, round out the spine, bring your shoulders up toward your ears, curl yourself in toward your belly button. Inhale, arch the spine, gaze comes up, shoulders come back. Excellent. Exhale, go ahead and round out the spine, maybe moving those arms or elbows as I am. Inhale, bring yourself back up, arch the spine, gaze comes up. Great job. Go ahead and come back to that neutral flat back and sit nice and tall. From here, getting into a little bit of a twist, we're just gonna bring our right hand to our left knee. Left hand rather can go right behind us. So take an inhale, exhale, give yourself a twist, either looking to the left or looking back over that back shoulder. As you're in the twist, take note to the legs. Did they close in as you were trying to twist? If so, let them release back down. And then switching sides, go ahead and bring the right hand behind you, left hand to right knee. Take an inhale. Exhale, twist over toward the right, or you can bring the gaze back over that back shoulder. Again, reminder, pay attention to those legs. So without even looking, just making sure that they haven't closed in on you. Take your next inhale to bring you back into center here. And then we're going to go ahead and make that fold forward here. So from wherever you are, if you need to kind of lessen the strength or lessen the stretch in the legs, feel free to bring the soles of the feet in, wiggle them out, extend your legs long, wiggle them, whatever you may need to do if it's too much for your hips on being in the pose for too long. And from here, we're going to go ahead and interlace our fingers, bring them around our toes if that's comfortable. Otherwise, you can leave your hands in your lap. Those of you who are in chairs, you can do this forward fold with us. So let's take an inhale, sit tall. On your exhale, go ahead and fold forward. So you can see I'm keeping that straight back. So I'm not rounding like we just did in that last exercise, but I'm keeping my back straight and I'm not letting my head go any further forward or my gaze down. I'm just simply hinging at my waist and letting my gaze move as I move. Use those elbows to help keep those hips open and maybe even find a little rock from side to side while you're in that fold. You may only come down a few inches. As you notice, I barely came down here either. So don't go ahead and get yourself all upset if you're not folding super far into this, because that is a difficult pose. Let's inhale, bring ourselves back up to center. And from here, we're going to go ahead and bring ourselves onto all fours. So however you would like to get there, bring your wrists underneath of your shoulders, knees underneath of your hips, and bring your gaze down at the ground in front of you. So from here, we're going to go ahead and just sync up our breath and do those cat and cow movements again with this gentle posture. So take an inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and round out your spine. So press through the arms, tuck your tailbone down, gaze comes down, chin tucks in. Inhale, arch the spine, bring your gaze forward, tailbone rises, belly button drops. Exhale, go ahead and round out the spine, tailbone comes in, press through the arms, round. Inhale, arch the spine, gaze comes forward, tailbone comes up, and find your cow. From where we're at, find that neutral spine again, that flat back. Let's just bring our big toes to touch behind us, and we're going to sink our hips back toward those heels, coming into child's pose. So stretching those arms long out in front of you. You can gladly do it this way and bring your forehead or your third eye to the mat. Or if the ground is still too far away, bring your arms in here. And go ahead and just rest your forehead on to your wrists or forearms to help give yourself a little lift up from the ground. From here, closing the eyes, coming inward, staying in that child's pose. And knowing that that's a resting pose in yoga. So at any time during a class, or if you're trying any of this on your own and you feel you need a break, this is a great place to come to be able to relax and recenter yourself and find find that peace once again if it's been disturbed. So from our child's pose, let's walk our hands over to the left side of our mats. They may come onto the floor, and you can stack that right hand on top of the left if you'd like. You can just bring your forehead down in between your arms if you wish, or to get more of a stretch, bring the right temple to the mat here in between the arms. Feel free to stretch that way also. That'll give you even more availability to stretch on the right. Let's walk the hands back through center. Left hand may stack on the right hand. Bring your forehead down to the mat in between the arms, or twist and bring that left ear to the ground. So you have the multiple options here. You can either bring your forehead down or you can twist more. Inhale and bring yourself back up to the middle here of your mat. Let your forehead rest one more time. And in your mind, repeat after me. I am stronger with every struggle. Inhale, bring yourself back up to seated here. So we're sitting on our heels now in what's called hero pose. So sitting here, let's bring our hands into heart center. So when our hands are in heart center, we're pressing our thumbs into our sternum, so right at our chest. So hands are here, elbows are out, shoulders are relaxed. Now we're going to do this in a few little steps, so bear with me on this, those of you on a mat. Otherwise, if you're in your chair, you can try doing this from a squatted type of position. If you sit in what's called chair pose, which I'll quickly demonstrate if you would like to participate. So as you would stand up, you would just simply keep your knees over top of your ankles and sink your hips back. Bring your arms up over your head, okay? So you can either go from that standing position or from hero's pose here, okay? We're gonna slowly bring ourselves up onto our shins. So that would be standing for those who are in chairs, onto shins entirely and standing on them otherwise. So we're gonna bring ourselves up about a quarter of the way. So bringing our tailbone off of our heels. So quarter of the way. Use your strength. 3/4 of the way. All the way up. Okay? We're going to bring ourselves back down that same way. Bring yourself to 3/4. Bring yourself to halfway down. 1/4 of the way down. All the way down. One more time to get ourselves up. 1/4. Half. 3/4. Totally up. Okay, so meeting here. Let's go ahead and bring our left foot forward. So left foot is going to step forward. So we're in this lunge position right now. So if this is too much on that right knee, feel free to fold your mat over. You're more than welcome to do so. Those of you who are in chairs, you can try to follow along the best you can. And we're going to bring our hands into heart center to keep ourselves steady in this, because you may feel that little bit of wobbliness here. Squeeze the thighs in toward one another, almost that you're like flexing your glutes and trying to like squeeze your thighs toward each other. That's going to keep you stable. Also, finding a focal point, something that's not moving in front of me. That is a very good way to utilize that balance as well. So from here, we're going to inhale and bring our arms high over top of our heads. Maybe bring your gaze up toward the sky. And then we're going to go ahead down, bring our arms down, frame that front foot. And then we're going to bring that back knee back. So left knee is back where it was meant to be. From here, let's go ahead and sit back onto our heels once again. Go 1/4 of the way up, half the way up, 3/4, all the way. This time, step the right foot forward. So right foot comes forward, we're on the left knee, and this front knee is tracking over that ankle. So we don't want our knee to go further forward than our ankle is. We always want it to be either back from it or in line with it, okay? Again, squeeze those thighs together. Find that focal point. You're also known in yoga as your drishti. So finding your focal point in front of you that's not moving. Inhale, arms come high. Keep squeezing the thighs together. One more breath. Then exhale, bring the hands down to frame out that front foot. Bring that knee back. Big toes come to touch. This time, bring the knees as wide as the mat. Sit back onto the heels into a wide-kneed child's pose. Bringing the forehead down if that's accessible, or again, bringing those forearms in and resting our head on our forearms. Or if you really want to go into it, go ahead and bring that forehead down. Arms can come back by your sides, palms facing up, and rest. So you have your options, and close the eyes. If you've lost that train of thought, bring yourself back to the fact that you are stronger with every struggle. Bring the hands back underneath of the shoulders. Press yourself back up into that position now with knees wide. This time, we're going to plant our hands on the mat. Bring yourself up onto your knees. And then we're just going to bring our toes down, bring our knees back in underneath of us, okay? So this time our toes are kind of tucked under that we're on them, okay? From this point, we're going to go ahead and bring ourselves to standing, but in a very similar position. So I'd like you to go ahead and bring your knees off of the ground. Use your hands as helpers. We're going to let our heels sink down as we stand up. So come halfway up into almost like that chair that we were talking about before. Halfway up. Hips are sinking back. Knees are over top of our ankles. And then inhale, bring yourself up. So arms are high. We're going to stand up with this in little quarters too. So go quarter of the way, half the way, 3/4, standing. All right, excellent guys, beautiful work. So now from our standing position, and I'm just checking in on our timing here, looking wonderful. So from here, we're going to do some of that standing balance that we've been working on. So you can gladly bring a chair by you if you are a seated person for the class today, and use that as a helper somewhere nearby, or you can use a wall as I'll be demonstrating, and you can kind of use that as where your chair would be as well in that case. So if you would like to bring your chair to your right side, that's where we're kind of going to begin. So using that theory of your drishti, so me coming a little bit closer just so you can see me in the video because I know my head gets cut off. So finding that focal point, that drishti, you want to really focus in on it. So find something that's not moving in front of you. Let that be your only point of focus. Don't let your eyes wander. Excuse me. Don't let your eyes wander, and go ahead and just kind of find your space in there. Let your only thoughts be about how you're stronger with every struggle, because this is a little bit of a struggle too in and of itself. This is something that's new to a lot of you. So playing around with that, and again, just reminding yourself that you've got this inside. So again, chair to our right, wall to our right, whatever's needed there, or if you want to be freestanding, more power to you. So we're going to find our first here, we're going to find our tree pose. So you can do one of 3 different versions. You can either bring a little kickstand to your inner shin. We're going to use our right leg as our standing leg first. So go ahead and unweight the weight off of the left foot. Sole of the left foot can then come to the inner shin. You can bring it to your inner thigh. And again, pressing evenly into our legs, so this hip isn't really popping over too far. So once you're there, you can bring arms up. You can also twist this foot over, very similar to how we were doing when we were in that seated position earlier, what we kind of flip our foot over. So you can do that one. That's my personal preference, but go ahead and find your version of your tree. Arms can be up high, or hands can be at heart center. But regardless, we're finding that focal point and staring it down. So really getting into that, focusing on your breath. And then go ahead and slowly, without slingshotting that foot, release it back down to the ground. Go ahead and roll out your right ankle from any stress on it. And then we're going to try what's called eagle pose. So this is going to have a lot of what we just were working on. So that chair where you're sitting back into that chair with your knees still tracking over your ankles. This is that same type of concept, but we're going to play around with the shapes of our legs a little. So Full eagle is when you bring that foot all the way around and you hook it. So you can see where my toes are if I turn to the side. So I'm hooking the top of my foot onto that standing leg. So if we're still using our right foot as our standing foot, I would go ahead and just bring my left leg, cross it over in front of the right. You can keep it right here. If you can't do that, just do a little tap with that, the left toes on the mat. If you feel like you have the balance in you, keep a little bend in that right knee that's standing and try hooking that foot. You can see if I twist where that foot lands on my shin, okay? So finding that, and then we're gonna sit back just like we did in our chair. So you can look down and make sure that that front knee is not going too far forward or backward. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our arms. So you can keep your hands at heart center. If you wanna find full eagle with me, right elbow is underneath. I'm putting my left elbow inside of it and clapping my hands. So it's a little twist with the arms. So once again, bottom elbow is your right elbow. Put the left elbow inside, twist the arms, palms come together. So we're standing here and we're squatting down that same way as that chair. If you'd like to have a chair near you or the wall near you, feel free to just bring an arm there and maybe just one hand into heart center. Inhale, stand yourself up, untwist those legs, give a little walk around here, move out that body a little. So something a little new, that eagle pose today. So something to kind of contemplate. And again, I also wanted to throw something in here that was a little bit more of a struggle, because I want you to be able to almost associate that in with your poses and then be at the end like, wow, I did that. That was something a little new, something a little bit hard, and I still worked on it and I did it. I did my best with it. So again, give yourself a little congratulations. And then left foot's gonna be our standing foot. So we're gonna do tree pose first. So find either your little kickstand into the inner thigh here, or crossing that ankle over, wall or no wall, find your spot. Hands can be at heart center, or you can grow those arms high over top of your head. So finding that position. Wonderful. Breathing here. Then slowly, without slingshotting that foot, let it go out of your tree pose. Wiggle out that left ankle. Left ankle again is going to be our standing ankle on this one. So we're going to find those eagle legs. So go ahead and cross the right foot over the left. Okay, so we're finding that little curtsy, that little crossover. Keep a little bend in your left knee. Either bring it here as that little kickstand, or if you can cross it over, you can see again the bottom of my foot showing as it's hooked around the other. You can use a wall, you cannot use a wall, whichever you prefer. If you're gonna do this with me, go ahead and find either the hands at heart center while we bend into that left knee and kind of sink our seat back. Or we can bring our right arm as our bottom arm, or excuse me, left arm as our bottom arm, right elbow inside, twist it over, clap the hands. So finding that eagle here in whichever version, if it's the toes tapped, or it's our hands here, or hands at heart center. Find your version of it. Inhale, stand yourself back up, uncross. Give yourself a little walk around on the mat. You did it, great job. Now coming down here in that same type of fashion as we came up and down throughout the day today in quarters, we're gonna do that same type of way. So getting down to our mats here, you can either stay as you are with your feet flat or come onto your tippy toes. Those of you who are coming back into a chair can simply sit yourself down slowly. Let's go ahead and bend at the knees. We're going to sit ourselves down onto our heels or onto the mat if you didn't do this extra step by keeping your heels up. You can use your hands in this sense as well. Go ahead and bring the heels down, but keep your bottom off of the ground, and then let yourself fall back. Okay, so coming down to that seated position, we're going to make our way down to our backs once again. So extending the legs long, go ahead and slowly bring yourself down to the mat. Finding that spot once again that we can melt into the ground. Maybe having one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Again, finding that sweet spot.
feeling the breath coming back down to normal. Did a lot of work here today, so good job, guys. Close the eyes. Let a little smile come to the face. Either that you knew that you have gone through a little bit of the struggle with class and that you're out on the other side here in just a moment or two. Maybe just that you've realized that those struggles are here to help sometimes and they're here to bring us to where we need to be. And just giving that gratitude again that we get to start fresh every day, not to be in the past or the future, because all of those things are imaginary. We don't know what's going to happen. So staying in that present moment mindset. Closing the eyes. And simply feeling your breath for a moment, maybe hearing the breath of someone else around you. Maybe syncing up with a few waves of breath with me here, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One last time, inhale and exhale. Doing a quick scan of the body again, all the way from the top of the head down to the toes. Make sure you're not holding on to any extra tension. Then start wiggling the fingers and toes. Point and flex the feet, round your wrists in circles. And then we're going to go ahead and bring our knees back into our chest one at a time. Hug them in. Bring your head in toward your knees if you can, maybe even by just supporting the neck to bring it there comfortably. But giving yourself that extra hug, that gratitude, that thankfulness for you taking the time to do something good to better yourself and better the world around you. Then bringing the right arm over like a pillow, roll onto your right side. Go ahead and use that fetal position to help signify, again, new starts and fresh beginnings. And then use the strength in your arms when you feel ready to bring yourself to a comfortable seated position facing the front. So feet can come together here once again, or whatever a comfortable seat would look like for you. Find that place. Rest your arms in your lap, sit nice and tall, almost like a puppeteer is pulling you upward from the top of the head. Just coming into some gentle neck stretches. Let's bring the right hand over top of the head, gently bringing it there. And just use your hand as a little bit of a weight, bringing that right ear toward your right shoulder. Same thing opposite, head comes up, hand comes down. Left hand over to our right ear. Give a gentle little neck stretch here, never pulling, but just using that weight of the hand. Let go of the hand, bring your head back in. Shake the head no. Shake the head yes. Shrug your shoulders up toward your ears. On your exhale, drop them down. And from here, we're going to bring our hands into heart center, which is the center of love and gratitude. I want to thank you all for practicing with me. Again, may you be stronger with every struggle. We'll end with the word namaste. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I will see you next week, and we'll practice some more. If you have any questions, feel free to forward them over. Bye, guys.